If you see last year in India, the total number of smartphones significantly outstripped the total number of TV households in the country. So it's very clear that India, unlike several other developed markets, will likely skip the multi-TV monetization phase. Realizing this, the larger broadcast networks and even production houses, they have come out with their own direct-to-consumer services. Most of them predominantly favor a AVOD model, though now in some cases a secondary subscription revenue model has started to emerge. Now, India traditionally has remained subscale as far as SVOD is concerned. That's because of lack of payment infrastructure or limited exclusive content or just poor bandwidth to experience premium video. Now, all of this has changed significantly over the last 12 to 18 months. With the onset of 4G and with declining in data tariffs, the percentage of subscribers or users getting access to speeds of 4 Mbps or more has increased significantly. Also, with demonetization, there is now a proliferation of e-wallets. So this has enabled many Indians to transact online. In fact, the number of mobile transactions have now more than doubled since then. On the supply side, with the entry of deep pocket players like Amazon and Netflix, this has led to a significant commissioning of local premium content. In fact, this has also put pressure on some of the domestic players to up their game as far as local original production is concerned. So in a nutshell now, the SVOD revenue segment for online video has started to open up. If you see from the consumer viewpoint, the cost of bandwidth has become much more affordable. The cost of content, particularly the cost of like-to-like content available on some of the broadcaster-backed OTT services, is nearly zero or negligible because most of the broadcaster-backed OTT services operate on an AVOD model. The same cost of content available on linear pay TV platforms on a relative basis, this turns out to be much more expensive. So the next important component of the video supply chain is the price of the dongle or the price of digital media consoles. Once the price for this starts to drop, you might see consumers maybe starting, at least from the urban centers, look at re-engineering their own video supply chain. For OTT players, the next wave of digital products have to be planned very differently because the next 250, 300 million odd mobile broadband users will actually come from rural markets. Most of them like to consume content in regional or local language. So, the OTT players will have to recalibrate their content offering in order to cater to the subscribers in those markets. Also, many of them will be mobile-only users using a low-cost handset, which will have a very limited capacity to carry limited number of apps, which will serve a specific use case. So as far as technology is concerned, one is to build for the lowest common denominator of technology to reach the masses. Again, India is a very price-sensitive market. We have consumers belonging to different income strata. So, one has to also opt for a flexible monetization policy. There's a gradual case of upselling consumers from a AVOD to a freemium to a TVOD and eventually a SVOD model. And lastly, explore innovative partnerships. Now, e-wallet integration for many OTT players has kind of become a standard, but India is predominantly a AVOD market. So in that sense, partnering with, many OTT players have partnered with transportation services like Ola Play or Railways, which offer Wi-Fi services. And you'll see a lot more happening in this space as public Wi-Fi expands coverage with more investments being made by fixed broadband operators. Also do deep integrations with OEMs and operating system. The Indus logo you see here, Indus actually is India's second largest mobile operating system. And many utility-based OTT services has driven a lot of deep engagement with their subscribers by integrating with Indus. So similar such partnerships can be explored by video OTT players with Indus or any other OEMs which have a strong presence in rural markets. Just to quantify the addressable opportunity for online video, as of end last year, India had about 217 million mobile broadband users or subscribers. Now this in the next 5 years will cross more than 500 million. As far as fixed broadband is concerned, despite the lower base, it will continue to grow at a slower pace from about 18 million to 32 million in the next 5 years. But the quality of fixed broadband infrastructure will improve significantly with more investments being made into next generation networks like fiber or DOCSIS 3.0. And this is also very critical to drive a more sustainable growth for long-form SVOD services. SVOD subscribers as of end last year were about 2.8 million, and this in the next 5 years we expect it to grow to about 15 million. In revenue terms, India's online video market in 2016 was to the tune of about $227 million. It remains significantly skewed in favor of the AVOD segment. The AVOD segment alone will grow at about 35% CAGR in the next 5 years to become a $1.3 billion revenue opportunity. As I said, the SVOD revenue segment has also started to open up, and this will add another $250 million. So the total online video market is pegged at about $1.5 billion in the next 5 years. The opportunity today is even bigger if the domestic OTT players expand their horizon outside of India. In fact, the Indian television content export market last year alone was to the tune of about $300 million. There are 30 million Indians outside of India who have the willingness and the propensity to pay. But this market has been largely untapped by the domestic OTT players. So we are seeing domestic players now gradually looking to explore opportunities in overseas market. It gets even further exciting when one looks beyond the existing P&Ls of OTT companies. If you look at the $1.5 billion revenue opportunity for online video in the next 5 years, this will actually enable a significantly larger data revenue market to the tune of about $27 billion. This is divided between fixed and mobile broadband. And for those OTT players who can get even a minority share of this huge data gold mine, can capture a significant value for themselves and for the investors backing them. That's it from my side, and I hope I've set the context for the panel to follow. Thank you.